Come championship bound, baby! Woo! Big up, baby! Woo! You hear it, man. It got a little crazy out there, but we made it through.
We're gonna keep stacking the day, so see you in the championship.
Let's go!
June 17th wasn't just another game. It was a reckoning. Sophie Cunningham was back. Caitlin Clark was locked in. And Jacy Sheldon? She had no idea what was coming. A dirty eye poke, an explosive flagrant foul, and the revenge of the Indiana Fever. This one had everything.
Should be the last time these two teams faced off too. Sophie Cunningham suffered her ankle injury in that game, but in addition to that, she actually had part of her front tooth knocked out. She made contact with Jacy Sheldon as Caitlin Clark knocks down the triple.
But what people don't talk about enough is how hard you have to work to be able to be that good. All the hours that she's spent perfecting her craft.
Retreating, firing, and hitting.
So she can do that.
On Indiana arguing the call.
I mean, step back, you're late. She almost looks you in the eye.
Let's rewind. May 30th. The Fever played the Connecticut Sun. But it wasn't just basketball. It was carnage.
When we talk about the physicality for a second, 2 players on the Indiana Fever got injured last night by the same player on the Connecticut Sun, and that was Jacy Sheldon. And I tweeted about it. She was playing so reckless. I'm fine with players playing aggressive, but there is a thin line between playing aggressive and playing reckless. When you dive for a ball, you don't land on somebody's leg. She landed on top of Sydney Colson's leg, and her leg got stuck and literally twisted around. Both injuries, both Sydney Colson and Sophie Cunningham, were contact injuries.
But this wasn't just professional drama. Clark and Sheldon, they go way back. Back to Iowa versus Ohio State, where every game was personal.
They weren't non-contact. They weren't ACLs, they weren't Achilles, they were contact injuries caused by the same player. And this kind of physicality that the WNBA they brag about. They say it's always been a physical league. That's just the heart of the It's not good basketball. And we've seen so many injuries. Paige Becker's out with a concussion. Rakia Jackson was out with a concussion. All of these injuries are contact plays. We've seen Caitlin Clark last year get chucked to the ground. We saw Angel Reese get clothesline chucked to the ground. The players continue to do it because the refs are allowing them. Why wouldn't you keep doing it if you're a physical player?
3 weeks later, June 17th, Clark returns from injury. This isn't just her comeback. It's the rematch.
Her mortal enemy. Took out a player. Jacy Sheldon. Caitlin Clark's mortal enemy. Jacy Sheldon.
Third quarter. It happens. Sheldon again goes for the ball, but jabs Clark straight in the eye. You could hear the gasps from the stands.
This is a reckless play. This is reckless. It is dangerous. And this angle makes it look even worse. It is dangerous. Like, Sid Colson is between her and the ball. Sid Colson is in fact between Jacy Sheldon and the ball, and she dives through her knee. It wasn't even called as a foul.
Clark, angry and blinded, shoves Sheldon away. Natural reaction, right? But the officials? They call a technical on Caitlin Clark.
She just texts me. She never texts me during the game.
All right. Here is Clark splashing home a 3 from way downtown. Kelly escorting her back to the bench.
Jacy Sheldon is there on it with her hand in her face.
If that wasn't enough, Marina Mabrey steps in and absolutely decks Caitlin Clark. Chaos erupts, and it's about to cost her.
And Clark are talking to the official. They're both going at it saying, hey, oh, there's a little extra right there. Uh-oh. And Marina steps in to protect Jacy.
But the real revenge? That came from Sophie Cunningham, the enforcer, the one who remembers May 30th like it was yesterday.
Quarter we go. They're trailing by 10. Keep an eye on her and Jacy Sheldon. Clark trying to back her down. Sheldon, that was Clark, hitting her in the face. Clark is upset about that. Then everybody's upset about that. Marina Mabrey comes in. She decks Clark. Tempers flaring on both sides.
What came next? Vintage Caitlin Clark. Angry, locked in, unstoppable. And the Fever? They fed off her fire.
I mean, Is that displacement? I think
That
it
is. Oh, and Marina Mabrey's going to get ejected. If the officials saw that, Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected.
So they're going to go and look at it. Look at Mabrey. She's got a scar on one side, a scratch on one side of her face, a scratch on the other side. It's not from the game today. I asked her about it. She's always in the mix. There's a lot of contact here. There's a scrape across the face. That's what Clark didn't like.
But the question now is, how did the refs get it so wrong? A technical for getting poked in the eye? A flagrant for defending teammates? Where does the league go from here?
Take another look as we try to figure out what exactly went down. So you see her get hit in the face. Jacy Sheldon doesn't like that, and everybody on the team doesn't like it. Marina, trying to have her teammates back, pushes her down. You see a little bit of drama all the way around. Tina, Charles, Clark, and Mabrey, they received technical fouls. Sheldon received a flagrant 1 foul.
This wasn't just a basketball game. It was a statement. Don't mess with Indiana. Don't mess with Caitlin Clark. And never, ever forget about Sophie Cunningham.
That's what Clark didn't like. And Mabrey came in with a bump.
And Mabrey's day is almost assuredly going to be done. But both.
This wasn't basketball. This was personal. Caitlin Clark, America's rising star, took an eye poke and a body check in the same quarter. And when the refs looked the other way, Sophie Cunningham didn't. Tonight, we're breaking down the chaotic night the Indiana Fever said, enough. You're about to witness the night when justice wasn't delivered by the whistle, but by a teammate with nothing to lose. This is the story of revenge, loyalty, and a win that meant more than points on the board.
And then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere and chucks her to the floor. Now let's watch this in slow motion. Here, Jacy Sheldon is guarding Caitlin, swipes her in the face. There's one. Going for the ball, swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin's gonna have to start wearing goggles. And then Caitlin pushes her off of her, like, why are you still in my face? Marina Mabrey, bat out of hell, chucks Caitlin Clark to the ground.
The game was already physical, but in the third quarter, it crossed the line. Caitlin Clark gets swiped in the eye again, this time by Jacy Sheldon. She pushes back, a normal reaction. But then, Marina Mabrey comes flying in like it's a hockey game. She body checks Clark midcourt, hard. Clark hits the floor. The arena gasps. And the refs? They're standing still like mannequins in a mall. Coach Stephanie White is screaming on the sideline. Clark's teammates are furious. Yet after 15 minutes at the monitor, Mabrey, just a technical. Clark, also a technical for defending herself. Make it make sense.
Now after this, you guys, of course, the referees are going to review the play because that's a lot of contact going on right there. That's a lot of unnecessary contact. That's a lot of non-basketball contact happening during this play, right? So the 3 referees that I like to say, they got them straight out of Sephora because I don't think these referees have ever refereed a professional basketball game in their life. They took these referees, they were at the monitor, they looked at it for, I'm not even exaggerating, you guys, like 15 minutes. 15 minutes they are watching this play over and over.
But the Fever weren't done, because on the bench, Sophie Cunningham was watching it all, watching her teammate get targeted, remembering her own injury from just weeks ago. And when Jacy Sheldon came barreling down the lane again, Sophie made her move. She wraps up Sheldon midair and slams her to the ground. Not dirty, not reckless, just personal. A flagrant 2, an automatic ejection. And the bench erupts. The fans chanting SOPHI, SOPHI. Sheldon and Allen get tossed too. But Cunningham made her point on behalf of every Fever player who's been targeted this season.
Announcers here are saying, of course, Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected because that was unwarranted. She literally came out of nowhere and chucked Caitlin Clark. There should be a flagrant 1, of course, on Jacy Sheldon because she swiped her and hit her in the eyeball. Whether it is intentional or not, you can still have a flagrant foul a flagrant foul called on you, whether you are trying to intentionally hurt somebody or not. But this is what they called, you guys. This is what they called. Caitlin Clark, Marina Mabrey, Tina Charles were assessed with technical fouls on Tuesday. Caitlin, Marina, and Tina Charles. Technical fouls. That's it. Technical fouls. That's it. And Jacy Sheldon was assessed with a flagrant 1 foul, and no players were ejected.
Coach White said it best. When the officials don't control the game, this is what happens. This wasn't just about Clark anymore. This was about a pattern. The Fever are tired of watching their stars get fouled, pushed, slapped, and ignored. Sophie's foul wasn't about retaliation. It was about accountability. It wasn't dirty. It was necessary.
The officials don't get control of the ball game when they allow that stuff to happen, and it's been happening all season long. All season long. It's not just this game. It's been happening all season long. This is what happens, right? This is what happens. You've got competitive women who are the best in the world at what they do, right? And when you allow them to play physical and you allow these things to happen, they're going to compete, and they're going to have their teammates' backs. It's exactly what you expect, right? Out of fierce competition. So, I started talking to the officials in the first quarter, and we knew this was going to happen. You could tell it was going to happen. So they got to get control of it. They got to be better.
The Fever didn't just fight back, they won. Clark finished with 20 points and 6 assists. Natasha Howard, 50th career double-double. Mitchell, 17 points and 4 threes. And the Fever, 1 win away from their first ever Commissioner's Cup title. But this wasn't just a victory. It was a message. To every team thinking they can take cheap shots. To every ref ignoring foul after foul. To every player who thinks Caitlin Clark will back down. The Fever protect their own.
Now let's talk about Sophie Cunningham. At the end of the game, Jacy Sheldon is going for a fast break layup, and Sophie Cunningham is running with her. And I remember in my head, like, it happened in a split second, and I said, oh, let's see. Let's see what happens here. Sophie commits a hard foul on Jacy Sheldon. Again, as Jacy Sheldon is going up for a layup, Sophie bear hugs her and takes her to the ground. What I will say is Sophie did not grab her and throw her to the ground. She didn't body slam her. She didn't do anything, in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm biased here, but I'm going to give you guys my straight up honest opinion on this. She bear hugged her, took her to the ground. Yes, it was intentional. It was absolutely intentional.
In sports, we talk a lot about team culture. But that's not just chemistry. It's what happens when your star gets hit and your role players go to war for her. This game wasn't just about a win. It was about identity. The Indiana Fever just showed the WNBA. They won't be pushed around. They won't be bullied. And they'll stand on business every single time.
Was to me payback for what was happening the entire game. But she did it in a way that she wasn't going to injure Jacy. She was just making it known, like, if the refs aren't going to handle it, I will handle it. We'll take care of it, but this is not what you're going to do when you come into our house. It was an intentional foul. It was a hard foul. She brought her down. But with that, you guys, Jacy Sheldon got up and she was ready to go. So as you guys can see in this video, a whole scuffle breaks out. Sophie and Jacy are going after it. Both teams are running over, trying to break it up. It kind of goes into the fan section a little.
A rare miss at the rim for Aaliyah Boston, the league's top field goal percentage shooter in the WNBA, but it's Boston who comes up with the steal and the find to Howard. Clark working on the rookie. Clark on the drive. Hang, shot too strong. There's Howard to clean up.
And Clark working off the ball, comes off the stagger.
Third year in her WNBA in terms of setting up her teammates. Clark behind the back, feed inside. 2 more for Howard.
In a Fever, fans were chanting, Sophie, Sophie. Sophie's jersey is going to sell out tonight. She's going to be in the All-Star game tonight just from this one play because she was standing on business. It wasn't a dirty play. It was an intentional foul, and it was meant to send a message. It turned into a scuffle, and I don't think anybody wanted that.
Oh, and Clark just took it away. It's a 2-on-1. Clark bounce pass, pretty fine, and Mitchell won't miss from there.
Sophie Cunningham just became a hero in Indiana. Caitlin Clark got justice. And the Fever? They're a family, and families fight back. Comment CC plus Spicy Sophie if you're riding with this team. Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on all notifications. Because trust us, you're going to want to see what happens in the Commissioner's Cup final. Click the video on screen now, and we'll see you in the next breakdown.